So 5 mistakes I made while hiring on Upwork. I made a lot of mistakes. 5 of the most important ones, we'll call it. But first, a word from our sponsor, Upwork.com, where working professionals are able to exhibit their skills. Okay, you get it. There's a lot of these kind of marketplaces, Fiverr, Upwork. Personally, we started using Upwork because the quality of skill there was higher. I know there's a lot of other boutique marketplaces that advertise themselves as having even a higher degree of skills and freelancers, whatever. If you can't make Upwork work, that's on you, though. That's not on the platform. Same thing goes for Fiverr. There's a lot of great talent on that platform. So to say that Upwork's crap, Fiverr's crap, whatever the platform is crap, you can do stuff on Craigslist. I guarantee it. So, word to the wise, watch the excuses. That's not going to fly, right? It's all about taking personal responsibility and making the right hires. So our history with the platform, we spent over 150 grand, so a lot of good experience there. And look, people like us, 4.99. So I really enjoy the platform. It's been good for me to vet freelancers, often that ended up working for the company. So here's a top errors that we made is in the beginning, just really looking a whole lot at reviews. As a corollary to that, I had once hired a freelancer, I had 0 reviews. And I could tell his quality of work was there just by really looking at his work samples. I didn't think he was going to be as good as he was, but the guy killed it with 0 reviews. And I've had a few of those kind of scenarios as well. A lot of times reviews are misleading. And in fact, the times where I overly weighted on reviews, it didn't turn out that well. Because the reality is, it is politically inconvenient to give a freelancer bad remarks. Just not really something that you want to do personally. And there might be some blowback. Maybe your rating as a vendor goes down. Honestly, it's something that we've done ourselves is even if we had an underwhelming freelancer, we didn't necessarily take them to town on the reviews. So like I just put this freelancer on blast just as an example. 94% job success, seemed really highly rated. I was excited about working with this writer. You get something in your head. She's out of Atlanta and she's working from the kitchen table and that sort of thing. So the first submission made it clearly apparent that they were using international talent and using this picture, and the story likely is a front. And that's fine. For some people, it might work. For us, it wasn't a fit. And so that happens from time to time. Another thing that we see a lot is not fitting the macro talent to the micro talent. I don't know about the wording on that, but regardless is someone may get good reviews, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're good at that particular job. So I hired a WordPress developer who I liked a lot. But the problem was there weren't a WordPress developer. They were what they called themselves a super admin. So here's like an example of what that feedback looked like. We hired a woman named Amy, really funny, nice to work with, good times, great personality, but she wasn't a WordPress developer. And she said she was. So in a subsequent call, she worked on rebranding herself as a super admin. So all of these things that I wrote about her were true. I even had her read the review before I posted it. Because she said she was X and she was really Y. So at any rate, that can happen more often than you think. Because I can say as a freelancer myself, like you'll get asked to do different things, right? Like we're really good at organic marketing. Sometimes we get asked to do ads. And now we don't do that ourselves. We have a guy who can come in and help out with that. But at one point, I was digging through it myself and working the ads, and it's maybe not the best match. So that's what I've seen an issue for is if you go into the WordPress platform, they'll actually have reviews, and you can sort based on whether that review came to them as a WordPress developer or as a designer or various other categories. So the important thing there is to check the reviews, make sure don't overweight them, but take that as one data point and see their portfolio work for that particular skill set that you're hiring for. The next thing is to only hire one person for an easy project. So I almost always hire 2 writers and 2 admins every time I make a job posting. Give them the same exact job and see who can do it the best. Uh, an error I made in the past was I hired one person and maybe they took too long to deliver, or it wasn't quite right and the deliverable ended up being wrong. So now I'm out a week. And a lot of these small jobs, they're very affordable where you can afford to hire a couple of people to vet them. Your time is valuable; it's worth something, and be able to leverage out on the Upwork platform is all a piece of what we're talking about here. The fourth thing was a little bit surprising to me. Designer is the hardest job to hire for, in my opinion, at least. And the reason that I believe that's so is it's very hard to tell someone what's in your head, which is essentially what a designer is. Oh, I want a picture of this pen in 3D and isometric and whatever that looks like. And I want it in a blue, but a good looking blue, right? So we all struggle to communicate. And the blowback on that with the designer role is it's just a lot more difficult. Compare that with a writer or a developer where you can present something in a concrete terms and the expectations are very clear. Hey, I need it done in React. I need these technologies. I need it to be mobile responsive. So that is something I stand by, and it's backed by facts too. We've probably hired 10 folks over the time period of designers, and there's been about 3 that have been pretty solid, and that's about half of what we normally hit on for different roles. So, word of the wise: if you're hiring a designer, be expected that the communication gap is going to cause more issues, and a lot of people brand themselves as designers even if they don't really have that skill set. So the fifth mistake that I made was I shunned agencies early on. I want a freelancer. I want to work with that person. Well, maybe you don't. Maybe it's just easier to work with an agency who has a stockpile of talent who can provide whatever you need whenever you need it. You're going to pay a higher price, and it's worth it a lot of times. So, yeah, I say that as an agency owner, but nonetheless, there is a clear value in hiring an agency, and sometimes it just makes sense to use a freelancer. So I'm happy to talk more about things I learned on the platform, and also hiring and outsourcing type activities over the years. Feel free to drop me a line at Travis Zebro and Travis at momentatech.com. Have a great day.